folks, thank you. About an important event coming up Saturday, February 27th. It's a food drive. And as you know, the pandemic has struck hard all across the country and in Louisville. And so we're excited to come back with the Louisville AARP volunteer team, working together with the Elder Angela Overton with the Coalition to Transform Advanced Care. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you all to AARP Facebook Live. Let's quickly go to Pastor Alma. Alma, tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you're doing with the AARP volunteer team in Louisville.
Okay, hi, Pastor Alma Woolley, and I am a part of the Louisville community team. And one of the roles that I am in right now with the AARP team is working with C-TAC and meeting the needs of the community. And so this will be, this food drive that we're having is something that my church and I really enjoy doing because we're able to meet the needs of the community. And because of the work of AARP, we are able to reach more people.
Thank you, Pastor. Charles, let's go to you real quick. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing with AARP in Louisville. I know you stay busy.
I do stay pretty busy, but I'm Charles Williams, Executive Council, and volunteer since, I guess, around 2014, 2015 with AARP. And I'm involved in all kinds of initiatives. I just happened to see this invite crawl across my screen a few minutes ago. I said, well, let me take a break from preparing dinner and look in and see what people are doing and what they're talking about. So here I am.
Thank you for joining us tonight, Charles. And now let's go to our special guest, Elder Overton. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that C-TAC does in Louisville.
So my name is Angela Overton, and I work with the Coalition to Transform Advanced Care. We are in Washington, D.C. I reside in Louisville, Kentucky, so I have a heart for what is going on in our community, particularly what ails our community. The Coalition to Transform Advanced Care is about improving the quality of life for those who are experiencing serious illness, particularly for those who are most vulnerable. When the pandemic broke out of COVID-19 in 2020 last year, we really had to rethink how we engage our community when we were dealing with social distancing and no longer being able to, per se, get out into our community. So I'm the senior advisor for the Interfaith Work Group at C-TAC, where I oversee about 125 leaders nationwide, as clergy. And so we had to think differently on how we would provide this sort of assistance or just connection amid COVID-19. So we did a pilot project in Louisville, Kentucky, where we partnered with two churches, and Pastor Woolley, it was one of those churches, Christ Cathedral of Praise. And then also we partnered with Christ Way Missionary Baptist Church, where Reverend Adrian Baker is the lead. And of course, we partnered with AARP to help us with on the ground, getting connected with other care organizations and community organizations to meet the needs of the individuals Pastor Woolley and Pastor Baker served as it related to those with serious illness. But what we found is food insecurity is a major concern for the individuals that they serve. So we partnered, of course, with AARP. This will be our third drive in this whole project. We did a food drive last year. We did an essentials drive last year as well. That was very successful. And we're at it again because the need is there, greater than I think Pastor Woolley, I've ever seen currently. This is the greatest need that I've ever seen with the pandemic, folks that are being unemployed. So we're at it again.
Yes.
You're on mute, Scott.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
Forgive me. So the food drive is going to be Saturday, February 27th, and that's going to be held in 2 locations. Pastor Woolley, can we come to you real quick and tell us a little bit about what people can bring, what should they bring, and what the locations are?
Okay. My church is located at 711 West St. Catherine, and that's downtown Louisville, in area code 40203, which is one of the areas that is considered to be a low income area where there are people who are in need of food and essentials. Things like canned goods, tuna and beans, fruit in a can, anything that's a canned good that's going to last for a while. We are in need of things like that. Soup is a wonderful commodity at this time, especially when it's cold outside. Fresh fruit and vegetables are also needed, and we'll take those things as well. Because as soon as you all bring the food to us, we're going to turn around and give it to the community. And so if you could bring those types of things. Also, personal items are very important during this time too, such as soap and deodorant and things like that. And so these are the sort of things that we are in need of. Those essential things that you would like to have during this time that will last, that they don't have to use immediately, but something they can put away in their closets or cupboards, so that they will have these things for later when they need them.
Pastor Alma, thank you. And let's go, Charles, can you tell us a little bit, why is it so needed now in our community that folks are still suffering from the pandemic? Tell us a little bit more about why AARP's Louisville community team's involved in this project.
Well, one of the reasons that we're involved in it is because, well, COVID-19 is probably one of the bigger issues we're facing right now. And it has placed unusual burden and taxes on everybody, as everyone knows of someone who at least knows of someone who has been affected by COVID-19. That's only one of the things. We look at the recent things that are going on with weather and how so many people are stranded. Indirectly speaking, by way of COVID, people just aren't working as much. And so they don't have the resources, and specifically discretionary resources. But the necessary resources are no longer available, which is affecting the bottom line as far as being able to eat, to get their food and everything. I'm involved personally with NAPVETS, and NAPVETS makes us donations throughout the year to various food banks throughout the 7-county area up this way in LaGrange and Oldham County. So this is one of the most highly visible times for which food and clothing, all of the things Pastor Woolley's church is involved in, for us all to get involved and get our hands down into the trenches and try and help as much as we can.
Charles, thank you. I know. And so the first food drive that you all did last year in 2020, how successful do you think that was? What was the response like across the city?
So
Are you talking to me or Pastor Woolley? Oh, go ahead.
Pastor Woolley, before you chime in on that, I'll just like to say one of the things that C-TAC does or attempts to do is to bring awareness of a concern and then also partner with other
I think our internet. And the other thing is that the amount of food that we received from the last one, I mean, our closet, our food closet was filled with all kinds of good food for the community. And so, so we received so much food. I know we had over a ton in weight of food that we could give away to the community. So it was very successful.
I'm sorry, I checked out there, but I also want to bring light to Pastor Woolley as being bashful. One of the things that her places of worship does is, in addition to offering food to the community, she also feeds the community, the homeless, 3 times a week. On Tuesdays and on Thursdays, she provides, and her crew, as I call them, provides a sack lunch, and they go into the community in 2 vehicles, 3 persons per vehicle. I've seen it with my very own eyes. And you have individuals who receive only nourishment but love, and they know that they're coming. You could see them come out in their cars because that they recognize the cars. And in addition, every Sunday they are serving a hot meal, and so I love the partnership that we have because it's immediate. Pastor Woolley, she collects the food. Reverend Baker, they collect the food. And that week, that food goes out to those who are in need. And so, and then in addition to that, Brother Williams, you touched on the fact that amid COVID-19, there are people that are dealing with serious illness, chronic illness, and the lack of employment. So to not be able to have at minimum food really impedes the quality of life of the folks we serve together.
Charles, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've got this new device. It's a little toy. The difference between men and toys is the men and boys is the size of the price of their toys. But anyway, there are so many things that so many people who are affected, and this is probably, it seems to get worse and worse the more we bring out, the more we find. I heard, and this is kind of an analogy I'll make to you, that when we talk about knowledge, in the sphere of knowledge, the more we learn, the wider the berth of what we find out we don't know. Mm-hmm. So the more people we feed, the wider the berth of those individuals that we do not know are not being fed. And this is something that we are experiencing on a regular basis.
Yes. That's so true. When we actually take the food to the homeless, we started out making 75 meals, and then we found out there was still more others who needed food. So we went up to 80 and 85, and there's always somebody else who's standing out there on the street who needs food. And so we're just finding that the more we do, the more needs to be done. And so these food drives are very important for in order to get the people fed who are out there and who need the food, who need good food, not just snacks, anything like that, but they need good, nourishing food. And that's what we try to provide.
I'd like to bring another point up also, Scott, if you don't mind.
Please.
For the longest time, individuals who have not been affected because they've had jobs and good income and so many other things have oftentimes taken on the attitude, those people, they're just waiting for a handout. Well, when providence changes and when conditions change, they often find out that they are on that other side, and we're finding out now. We just look at the state of Texas. I see these brandy new trucks driving up in the food lines, filling up with water and food. Those are people who never in their wildest dreams imagined that they would be needing help. And so, so now there is a realization that it can strike at any time, anybody. So it is wonderful that C-TAC and folks like Pastor Woolley and you, Angela, are out there and making sure that we are addressing as many as we can, as often as we can to help them out.
You know what? And the thing is, Charles, is you said something else. We never know when we are going to need the assistance of someone else. And so if we have any extra, or, even if you don't necessarily don't think you have extra, we do, and so those who are, have a surplus, really think about not having enough nourishment, not enough food to sustain you for just one day. So we can open up our cupboards, we can open up our refrigerators. If you're like my household, you're throwing out food because it's spoiled. And so we have to be mindful that it could have been us, that was outdoors with no food and no clothes. And but in my tradition, I thank God every day that I'm not. But many of us are one paycheck away from being homeless or being in the situation that the folks that we're trying to meet. So while we have it, let's be mindful that so many others in our community does not. And I do believe that it is our duty, and our due responsibility to see about, our neighbors and those who are without.
Isn't there a saying that says, "There, but for the grace of God, go I," or something like that? I've heard it's something like that, but I'm one of those guys who paraphrases and misquotes a lot of folks. So it goes something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about something else the other day. Some time ago, like you, Angela, sometimes you look in your cupboard and you see a lot of stuff that you've had up there, canned goods and everything. There was a food drive maybe a year or two ago, and I went through my cabinet and just raked out everything, put it in a bag, and gave it to the Boy Scouts or whoever it was that needed it.
Mm-hmm.
So the other day I'm looking through and I'm cooking up one of my concoctions that required cream of celery soup. And I looked for my cream of celery soup and it was gone. And I wanted to blame somebody, but there was nobody but me. So I ended up using some celery seeds instead of celery soup. But it went to a good cause.
Amen. Amen. One of the things that it has sparked, Scott, you would be interested to know in these food drives is partnerships. Westport Road Baptist Church has partnered with these places of worship as well. Greencastle Baptist Church, Burnett Avenue Baptist Church. And so I'm excited because folks are getting excited about what can we do to help. I had a donation given to me, just one of my friends. And so I went to the store today to purchase a trunk load of canned goods. And there was someone there that said, well, can I ask you, what are you doing? Yes, because it was a lot of canned goods. And I explained to her. And so, she wanted to know a name of a church so she could send out a check. So she says, this is all of our problem. She says, it's not one section of community's concern. She says that we all have to address this. We all have a hand in it. And, her name was Connie. And I appreciate her conversation because she's right. This is not just those who do not have responsibility. It is not just their problem. This is what ails our community. And collectively, we can come to get together as a community, build up partnerships like C-TAC and AARP has done. And we draw awareness to our community that this is what is ailing our community. But not only that, though, but we also, as C-TAC, we try to bring attention nationally because this is a systemic concern. And so we have to work at that. But I just thank God for the partnerships that we are building in our community. And that tells this community that they are not alone, that you do have folks that care for you.
Thank you, Angela. Let me come back real quickly. If you can see it on the list that's on the screen for the food drive, what are some of the top items that folks can drop off? On here, we have listed nuts and beans, fresh fruits and vegetables, canned goods. So tell us a little bit more, if you would, Pastor Woolley. What's the best items to bring to this food drive?
Things like peanut butter and crackers. You see, canned fruits, because they like a lot of fruit, and fresh vegetables and fruits are very well received as also. But also, like I said, things like personal items. If you can do the soap and the deodorant, those things are needed too, if you can get those things. But as far as the food, yeah, soup is one of the main items right now because it's so cold outside, and so soup is a big deal.
Can I ask a question?
I know.
Go ahead, Charles.
When canned goods are delivered, are can openers also delivered with them? I don't know. I'm just
That's
curious.
a good question.
Not
Yeah, I mean,
usually.
I'm sure that is a basic need as well.
Yeah, I'm
It is,
reminded of that old Tom and Jerry cartoon where the cat finally gets his hand on some canned goods, and the mouse is sitting by his little hole with the can opener in his hand, and the cat begs for the can opener, and the mouse says, "Come on, closer, closer." And as he gets right there, he throws the can opener in his house where the cat can't get to it. No food for the cat that night.
Well, let me come back real quickly.
You don't like my story, do you, Scott?
I'm a huge Tom and Jerry fan, of course, Charles. But let's talk about the locations, because I know your volunteers are going to be out there on 2 different locations. So let's go to Pastor Woolley. You want to tell us those locations? I'll put them up on the screen, but there's more information too that's available at aarp.org/Louisville. You can Google that, and we've got a complete listing of the items and locations. But Pastor Woolley.
Yeah, one location is 711 West St. Catherine, and that's Christ Cathedral of Praise. The other location is 237 East Breckenridge, and that's Christ Way Baptist Church. And so, yes, we will have volunteers out waiting. We'll be standing in the parking lot. Hopefully it won't be too cold on us Saturday.
Oh.
But we'll be standing waiting to receive. Let me just say that food drives are so important. They're important because it allows us to replenish our pantries so that we can give food out. And it also raises awareness about poverty and about those who are in need and who need to have an advocate to stand in the gap for them. And then another important thing about food drives is that it builds community and it shows our children the importance of sharing. And so when you, I'm asking that when you bring the food, let your children be a part of the food drive too, so they know the importance of helping somebody else.
Okay, so we have those locations, Christ Way Baptist Church and the Cathedral of Praise, up on the aarp.org/Louisville website. What time can folks start showing up?
We will be there around 11, but I think the flyer says 12. But we will be there. So if you want to come a little earlier, that's fine. But we will be there from 11 to about 3.
So
Right,
officially, it's 12 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Yes.
Correct. All right. So let's come back as Charles making a little adjustment there. But let's come back to couple of final questions. But what else? Let's go to you, Elder Overton. What else do you want folks to know about this food drive?
I think it's just really essential. And even when we do a food drive, the food need is still going to be there next month, you know, and the month after, and the month after. And so I love a quote from Mother Teresa. She, in essence, said that if poverty, there would be no such thing as poverty if you and I fed the people who were hungry. She, in essence, has said and said often that the reason why folks have no food to eat is because you nor I fed them. And so this really truly is an opportunity for us to feed our community who is in need. And in addition to this project, it not only provides food nourishment, physical nourishment, but they also provide spiritual nourishment. And so, and spiritual nourishment is it's faith, but then it can sometimes it's purpose. It provides a hand, even though we can't touch because of COVID. The reason why I love this project is because it does touch. And so it says, I am concerned, I care. And so this truly is an opportunity that I just recommend that everyone becomes involved in it. And if it's not this project, I encourage you to get involved in some sort of project that meets the needs of people who are hurting. There are people who are desperate. There are people who are lacking the necessities of life. And in my opinion, I'm just going to go ahead and say many people are in this situation not for their fault of their own. And so we have an opportunity to stand in the gap and help someone that needs help, encourage someone that needs encouragement. We can be the hope. You know, Gandhi said, be the change that you want to see. And so let's do that.
Thank you. Alma, we do have a quick question from Facebook that came in just now. And the question is, will this event go on rain or shine?
It will go on, yes. Yes, it will. So
And
come on out.
Forgive me, I think the forecast is looking pretty good at this point.
Yeah.
So, and Alma, let me also ask you and Charles, both of you, if you want to jump in and take this one. Where else, or rather, what else is AARP volunteers? What else are they doing in Louisville around reaching out for caregivers, veterans? Is there anything else you want to mention? We've got a couple of minutes left.
Well, there are several initiatives with AARP. There's certainly Fraud Watch. We want to make sure that that people are protected against the fraudsters and the folks out there who are trying to take your hard-earned money. We have tax aid, which is supposed to start again, I believe, this Monday or next Monday. I'm not sure about those dates. We also have caregiving initiatives where we are putting special emphasis and talking to various legislators in our state representatives in reference to some caregiving issues and concerns that we have. So AARP has a lot of initiatives going on right now to try and help the 50+ demographic, which indirectly helps a lot of other people.
Thank you, Charles. And Pastor Woolley, anything you want to add to the conversation tonight?
Just look in your closets, your food closets, if you have anything that you'd like to give away, and fill up the bags and come on and drop them off at the locations.
Well, I want to thank everybody on the panel, and for the audience, if you want to find out more what's happening in Louisville with AARP, it's easy to explore. We're online, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, but we're also on the web at aarp.org/Louisville. And you can see a lot of different activities that are upcoming, ongoing with AARP in Louisville. So I just want to thank C-TAC and our volunteers for being a part of this, because you all make so much good happen. I think there are gaps that volunteers fill in organizations like C-TAC. I think that's going to wrap it up, and we will be tweeting you all live on Saturday. We'll look for that. February 27th is the community food drive with AARP in Louisville and C-TAC, the Coalition to Transform Advanced Care. That's going to be Saturday from noon till 3 p.m. Rain, snow, sleet. And the one thing I did want to mention, and I totally forgot, Alma, I'm going to come to you. We are observing PPE protection.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. I meant on the COVID protection.
We ask that everyone who comes, please make sure that you are masked, that you have a mask on. And as you give us your canned goods, we have a station where we wipe everything down before we set it in the closet, in the food pantry. So we are following every precaution. So please make sure when you come that you have your mask on. And we thank you for any donations that you make.
Just also one additional piece, if you don't mind me chime in, stay in your vehicles. And all you have to do is open your trunk. If you do need to get out of your vehicle in order to open your trunk, that's fine. But you're just going to drive through, stay in your vehicles, and we will take it out of your trunk of your car or your vehicles.
Yes.
And thank you all for that, because that is critically important as we continue to deal with the coronavirus. Ladies and gentlemen, you're a great panel. It's 7:31. We're going to wrap up. But just a big thank you to all the volunteers in AARP Louisville and you, Angela, for your help. So let's help each other by reaching within to reach without, to reach out.
Okay.
Take two. But again, so that's Saturday, February 27th from 12 noon to 3 p.m. 2 different locations, which you'll be able to find on our website. One is Christ Cathedral of Praise on St. Catherine in Louisville, KY, and Christ Way Baptist Church on Breckenridge Street. Folks, you all are the best. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and be well and do good work. We'll check back in with you later.
Hey,
Bye-bye.
All right, have a good night. Thanks for watching.
bye-bye. Bye-bye.